Danny Martinez sat in the dark corner behind the old brick building. The cold wind cut through his torn jacket as he watched the empty street. He had been living on these streets for 2 years now. People walked past him like he was invisible. That was fine with Danny. He wanted to stay hidden. The young man pulled his baseball cap lower over his eyes. His black hair was long and messy. 3 days of stubble covered his thin face. Danny used to be a soldier. He used to have a home and a family. That was before the fire took everything away from him. Now he could barely speak to strangers. The words just stuck in his throat. Officer Lisa Carter walked down the same street every night at 9 o'clock. Danny had noticed her routine weeks ago. She was tall, with brown hair tied back in a neat bun. Her dark eyes always looked alert and ready. She carried herself like someone who cared about her job. Danny respected that about her. Tonight felt different, though. Danny saw 4 men in dark clothes near the subway entrance. They moved like shadows, staying close to the walls. Something about them made Danny's old military training kick in. These men were not just walking around. They had a plan. Danny watched the men pull out small metal boxes from their bags. His heart started beating fast. He knew what those boxes were. Bombs. The men were placing them near the busy subway entrance where hundreds of people would walk tomorrow morning. One of the men looked up and down the street. Danny pressed himself deeper into the shadows. The man pulled out a small device that looked like a remote control. Danny's hands started shaking. These people were terrorists. Lisa was walking straight toward them on her usual patrol route. She had no idea what danger waited for her. Danny tried to stand up, but his legs felt weak. He had to warn her somehow. But how could he make her understand when he could not even speak to strangers? His voice always failed him when he needed it most. Danny grabbed a piece of cardboard from the trash pile next to him. His hands shook as he searched for something to write with. He found a broken pencil and quickly wrote danger bombs in big letters. Lisa was getting closer to the masked men. Danny stepped out from his hiding spot and waved the cardboard sign above his head. His heart pounded so hard he thought it might explode. Lisa looked at him and slowed down. She had seen homeless people ask for money before. She reached into her pocket, probably looking for some cash. No, Danny whispered to himself. She did not understand. He pointed frantically at the subway entrance where the men had disappeared into the shadows. Lisa looked confused. She thought he wanted food or money from the subway station. Danny threw down the cardboard and started making wild gestures with his hands. He pretended to throw something and made a big explosion motion with his arms. Lisa stopped walking and stared at him. Something in his desperate eyes made her pay attention. One of the masked men stepped out from behind a pillar. He saw Lisa standing there and quickly told his friends. The 4 men started running away from the subway entrance, but one of them dropped something small and black. It hit the ground and started making soft beeping sounds. Danny's military training took over. He knew that sound. Timer. He ran toward Lisa as fast as his weak legs could carry him. She was still trying to figure out what he wanted. The beeping got faster. "Get down," Danny tried to yell, but only a whisper came out. He reached Lisa just as the small device started flashing red. Without thinking, he grabbed her around the waist and pulled her to the ground. He covered her body with his own, just as the first explosion shook the street. Glass flew everywhere. Car alarms started screaming. Smoke filled the air. Danny felt pieces of concrete hit his back and shoulders, but Lisa was safe underneath him. That was all that mattered to him right now. Lisa woke up in the hospital bed with a bandage around her head. Her ears were still ringing from the explosion. She looked around the white room and saw Danny sleeping in the bed next to her. His back was covered in bandages, and his left arm was in a sling. A doctor walked into the room and smiled. "You are very lucky, Officer Carter. This man saved your life. He took most of the damage when he covered you." Lisa stared at Danny's wounded body. This homeless stranger had risked everything to protect her. She did not even know his name. When the doctor left, Lisa moved her chair closer to Danny's bed. She was not going to leave him alone. Danny opened his eyes slowly. He saw Lisa sitting next to him and tried to sit up. Pain shot through his back, and he laid down again. Lisa gently put her hand on his shoulder. "Thank you," she said softly. "You saved my life." Danny wanted to tell her his name and explain everything, but when he tried to speak, no words came out. His throat felt tight and closed. Lisa noticed his struggle. "It's okay," she said. "You don't have to talk." Lisa found a pen and paper on the table. She wrote down her name and showed it to him. Danny took the pen with his good hand and slowly wrote Danny Martinez on the paper. Lisa smiled. For the next 3 days, Lisa visited Danny every morning and evening. She brought him soup and sandwiches from her favorite diner. They talked through written notes. Danny told her about his time as a soldier and how he lost his family in a house fire. Lisa wrote about her job as a police officer and why she wanted to help people. Danny found himself looking forward to Lisa's visits. When she walked into his room, his heart felt lighter. Her brown eyes were kind and patient. She never made him feel broken or strange because he could not speak. For the first time in years, Danny felt like someone actually cared about him. After Danny got out of the hospital, Lisa helped him find a small apartment near the police station. She used her own money to pay the first month's rent. Danny felt grateful, but also worried. He had never let anyone help him before. Lisa brought Danny to the police station to look at the evidence from the bombing. His military training helped him understand things the other officers missed. He could tell what kind of explosives the men used and how they planned to set them off. Danny wrote detailed notes for Lisa to share with her boss. "You know more about this stuff than anyone here," Lisa told him as they sat in her car. Danny felt proud for the first time in years. Late at night, when they were alone in Lisa's apartment, Danny found he could whisper a few words to her. His voice was rough and quiet, but Lisa listened carefully to every word he said. "I was scared I would lose you," Danny whispered one evening as they looked at police files together. Lisa reached over and held his hand. "You won't lose me. We're a team now." Danny started going to therapy twice a week. Lisa drove him there and waited in the parking lot. Slowly, he began to sleep better and eat more. His nightmares about the fire came less often, but their happiness did not last long. One morning, Lisa's partner called with bad news. Someone had been asking questions about the homeless man who witnessed the bombing. The terrorists knew Danny had helped the police. That same evening, Danny saw a black car parked outside his apartment building. The same car followed Lisa home from work. Danny wrote an urgent note and showed it to Lisa. "They found us. We need to leave now." Lisa looked out her window and saw 2 men watching her building from across the street. She grabbed her gun and badge. Danny was right. The people who tried to kill them before were coming back to finish the job. This time, they would have to fight together to stay alive. Lisa and Danny drove to the old warehouse where Detective Torres said the terrorists were hiding. They had found the location by tracking the black car that was following them. Lisa called for backup, but it would take 20 minutes for other officers to arrive. "We can't wait," Lisa said. "They might escape or hurt someone else." Danny nodded and checked the windows of the warehouse. His military training helped him see the best way to get inside safely. He drew a simple map on paper showing Lisa where the guards were standing. They climbed through a broken window on the side of the building. Inside, they could hear voices talking about bombing the city courthouse tomorrow morning. Hundreds of people worked in that building every day. Lisa and Danny moved quietly through the shadows. They had practiced this kind of teamwork during the past few weeks. Danny would point and Lisa would understand exactly what he meant. No words were needed between them. But then one of the terrorists saw Lisa in the darkness. He raised his gun and aimed it right at her head. Danny was too far away to reach her in time. "Lisa, duck now," Danny shouted at the top of his voice. His words came out clear and strong. Lisa dropped to the floor just as the gun fired. Danny tackled the shooter and knocked him down. More gunshots rang out as Lisa fought with 2 other men. When the police backup finally arrived, all 4 terrorists were on the ground with their hands behind their backs. Lisa and Danny sat outside the warehouse, both breathing hard but safe. "You spoke," Lisa said, with tears in her eyes. "You saved me with your voice." Danny smiled and pulled out a folded piece of paper from his pocket. He had been carrying it for weeks, waiting for the right moment. Lisa opened it and read the words he had written. "Will you marry me? You gave me back my voice and my heart." Lisa kissed him under the streetlight, where their love story began. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, forever."